bit more time with this restart after the offside flag came up for about the second or third time on St. Louis in this first half.
And Portland will just have to be aware of the rotation that's going on in that midfield. Conrad Vaughn coming from the deeper position. Plays higher up. Marcel Hartel drops in. That's just communication between David Shala, João Ortiz. Most of the half, it's worked pretty well. But just there are moments where St. Louis City, they are one ball away from getting in behind Portland again.
Still looking to be settled. Finally is by Kelsey. Kelsey hold-up play. But again, he sometimes gets so caught up on getting his body big that he allows the defender to just poke it between his legs and take it away. 2 minutes of stoppage time to be played here at the end of the first half. St. Louis thrown at midfield, quickly taken by Twyckert, in for Oostrak. He'll lay it off for Todlin as St. Louis are inside the attacking half. Oostrak asking for options, not getting any, just plays it back to Yarrow. Now to Girdwood Reich. Roscoe, the left back, now to Pompeu. Pompeu in for Hartzell, corner of the 18. He gets it back to Pompeu. Zuperich was tracking the run, and Pompeu's shot ends up wide. It was a tight angle from Pompeu to try and score that. Crépeau watched it as he was covering that near post. Not sure how close it was, but that was a recipe as Zuperich was pulled out, and Pompeu's shot ended up being a good 2 yards wide of Crépeau's far post, but another moment in which St. Louis felt like they could have had an equalizer.
Yeah, it's Marcel Hartel again setting things up. It's that ball from Pompeu, and you said it, Zuperich just gets pulled out too tight, takes that angle, and Marcel Hartel just slips it in behind of Pompeu. You think you could cut that one back. Really tough angle to try and score from there. But at the moment, St. Louis City knocking on the door.
Final 30 seconds of the first half here at the discretion of the center referee. Is there a chance for either of these teams left in the first half? Here's Moreno, now to DaCosta. DaCosta facing goal 40 yards away. Chance to dribble at goal. Tries to chip it near side for Forey. Forey brings it down, serves it back across. Just misses the head of Kevin Kelsey and cleared out by St. Louis.
Really close. Good effort by Junior Forey. And again, that stop at DaCosta receiving that ball behind both Conrad Vaughn.
And there is the first half whistle. So St. Louis starts bright, but it's the Timbers who score in the 19th minute, courtesy of the right foot of David DaCosta, his fourth goal of the season. And the MLS All-Star has Portland in front on the road at the break at Energizer Park. At halftime, when the Timbers are leading at the break, they are undefeated, 4-0-1 so far this season. St. Louis have yet to win when trailing at the half, have lost 8 consecutive matches dating back to October of last season. Adam Sussman here with the halftime show next. He'll get you updated on everything that took place in Major League Soccer yesterday, as well as get the first half thoughts from Aaron Heinzen. Portland 1, St. Louis 0 through 45 minutes at Energizer Park.
Get ready for the time of your life. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens, owner and chief executive officer of Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas' ultimate entertainment hotspot. Taking amazing views at Legacy Club, our rooftop lounge. Party all year long at Stadium Swim, featuring the massive 143-foot screen. Indulge in 12 incredible restaurants and bars, or my favorite, spend the day at the world's largest sportsbook. Don't wait. Book your unforgettable experience today at circalasvegas.com.
Hi, my name is David, and I run the CashForCars.com team. We know your time is valuable, and our goal is to help you sell your vehicle in a quick, friction-free process. Please visit us today at CashForCars.com. Thank you.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And just like you, he relies on Grainger to help. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jake from State Farm. I'm winning. I finally cleaned my house, so I'm breaking out my new tropical room spray.
Keep winning. and create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It's like your own personal paradise.
Ooh, hey, grab me a coconut water.
Bundling, just another way to save with a personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Now, it's time for the Portland Timbers Halftime Show, brought to you by Providence Sports Medicine. We make you better by any measure. And by Ford, your local Northwest Ford dealer. BuyFordNow.com. Once again, here's Adam Sussman.
Timbers up 1-0 at the halftime break, currently with the difference of David DaCosta's goal in the 19th minute. Good things happen when you shoot outside the box. We saw that last week as Portland took on New England when David DaCosta in an eerily similar spot, but the one in the 19th minute here today, certainly no deflection on that one. It should likely be an unassisted goal. David DaCosta, the DP, acting like it at current. While the Timbers have a 1-0 lead on the scoreboard, that's ultimately what matters. Elsewhere in the statistics, it's all St. Louis, 57% of the ball. They're out shooting Portland 9-4, putting 4 of their attempts on target. The Timbers just 2. In terms of total passes, 316 for St. Louis, 240 for the Portland Timbers. A few interesting tactical things from Phil Neville in this one, at least what I noticed through the first 45. It looked like Kamal Miller was man-marking João Klaus a lot of the time, allowing for an open lane up the right wing for St. Louis at times, but Portland was able to catch St. Louis offside 3 total times through the first 45 minutes. Expected goals, 0.9 for St. Louis, 0.3 for Portland. Max Crepeau with 4 saves, the biggest being in the 6th minute. Portland did not want to go down early like they did against Toronto, and Crepeau came out of his net strong when Tomas Totland, the fullback of all players, was through on net. Probably waited a little bit too long, and Dario Zubric was able to disrupt his space. Totland still got the shot off, but it was saved by the right arm of Max Crepeau. Kevin Kelsey, I thought, in the first half was much better in this one than he was against New England. His build-up play was very solid, and nearly was able to pounce on a ball that was dripping across the goal line in the 41st minute when David DaCosta had a relatively tight angle, but was able to get the ball out of his boots and forced a good save out of Roman Berkey. Oh, the clearance came off the line by St. Louis to keep it 1-0. Elsewhere across Major League Soccer, the scores you missed yesterday. In the live standings, Portland is up to 4th, surpassing the Seattle Sounders, who beat Sporting Kansas City 3-2 yesterday. Orlando and Montreal 1-all at Inter&Co Stadium. Philadelphia stays top of the Eastern Conference, taking down New York 2-0. Toronto and Atlanta 1-all at BMO Field up north. Miami sees Messi secure 5 straight braces as they beat Nashville 2-1. San Diego on the road stay atop the Western Conference, beating Chicago 2-1. Minnesota, the Timbers' opponent next weekend, beat San Jose 4-1. Cincinnati scored 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, but that's as good as it got. They lost 4-2 to the Columbus Crew in the Hell Israel rivalry. Charlotte blanked NYCFC 2-0 at home. Colorado did the same to Vancouver 3-0. RSL, the Timbers' opponent, in just 3 days' time, beat Houston 1-0. LA Galaxy beat DC United 2-1. And LAFC, in a good vein of form, beat Dallas 2-0. We'll jump out to break here on the Providence Halftime Report presented by Providence Health and Services. When we return, Aaron Heinsohn will see how the Timbers are doing on his forward keys to the game.
Welcome to What's Next for your community, for your career, and for the healthcare field. At Carrington College, we're training the next generation of respiratory therapy professionals, bringing you the hands-on training to be ready for a career in a real-world healthcare setting. We're building on a proven legacy of career training going back over half a century. So if you're ready to train for a career as a respiratory therapist and make a difference in your community, we're ready for you. For information about student outcomes, visit carrington.edu/SCI.
Rolling hot dogs 2 for $5 on a fluffy bun. All beef hot dogs rolling in. Hurry, 'cause they're on the run. Pick your toppings anyway. Rolling to this deal. Pick your 2, big Q2. Rolling makes a meal. Mustard relish, sauerkraut. Ain't no need to scream and shout. Get 2 all beef hot dogs and a big Q for $5. Only at QT. More than a gas station.
I'm Kiana, and I leveled up my business with Shopify. Once I figured out that Shopify was a thing, I never turned back. I can create a site with my eyes closed. Shopify thinks ahead of us, and it thinks about the customer more than anything. Every day I'm thinking about some other new business, but Shopify is doing it to me because it's so easy to use. It's like I can't stop. I'm addicted.
Start your free trial at Shopify.com.
Get ready for the time of your life. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens, owner and chief executive officer of Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's ultimate entertainment hotspot. Taking amazing views at Legacy Club, our rooftop lounge. Party all year long at Stadium Swim featuring the massive 143-foot screen. Indulge in 12 incredible restaurants and bars, or my favorite, spend the day at the world's largest sportsbook. Don't wait. Book your unforgettable experience today at circalasvegas.com.
This copyrighted audiocast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.
Back here on the McDonald's halftime report, Adam Sussman along with Aaron Heintzen as the Portland Timbers are up 1-0 at the halftime break, courtesy of David DaCosta's shot from about 20 yards out, just outside of the PK area in the 19th minute. Aaron Heintzen, your two forward keys to the game were the Timbers offensively and defensively on set pieces, and also the performance of whichever striker got the start, and we'll likely see the other also in Kelsey and Mora. Let's start with the latter. What'd you make of Kelsey's first half?
I think he was lively at first, making runs in behind. That's exactly what we wanted to see. Again, just in the build-up play, not quite Felipe Mora, but I think he's been pretty solid so far. He's had physically, it's been robust. Again, trying to get into the box. He was hoping to get that cutback pass from David DaCosta. So he's playing available. More opportunities for him. I'd like to see him on the ball a bit more if possible before eventually he does get subbed in the second half.
We haven't seen too much off of set pieces, but with ae1ad Leuven, a good chance he's coming into the game in the second half. That could be more dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw early on the Marcel Hartel one. It didn't work out for St. Louis, but their corner kicks, they can be tricky with those. That one that was on the ball, on the ground at the top of the 18. Timbers did really well to react to that. I think it was Dario Zuprich that charged that down, got in front of it. When Toykert took it, wasn't able to put it on frame. Anytime you get something like that and the ball can slip through a crowd, you never know where it can go. But the Timbers so far being solid on those set pieces.
Obviously, what they need to give their way, being the 1-0 scoreline, is there. But what are the Timbers doing poorly through this first 45?
Well, I think in the first few minutes, certainly they were a little bit confused about who had all the markups going on in that interchange between the midfield and the front line. Thomas Totland got in, had a huge chance, and then it happened a second time as well. And the Timbers eventually kind of fixed things. I think just going forward, just showing the initiative. And again, turning my attention to Kevin Kelsey up top. Can he just make another run in behind like he did early on, just to pull the back line a little bit and provide some more space for Moreno and DaCosta in behind him?
Does Phil Neville have any incentive to revert to the 4-2-3-1 formation like he did last game against New England around the 60th minute?
I don't think so right now. I think they're still finding spaces, particularly the way Thomas Totland's pushing forward the right back for St. Louis City. David DaCosta's got space there to operate. And as long as he can do that, hold up the ball, allow opportunities for Jimmy Forey or for Kevin Kelsey to go 2-on-1 there on that left side, I don't see any reason the Timbers need to change at the moment.
Brought up ae1ad Leuven's name once. I'll do it one more time here. The Timbers susceptible the entire season to balls over the top. That's how Thomas Totland got through on net. Saw the fullback be caught a little bit too high up the pitch, and Kamal Miller was out of position as well. Do you expect even more of those to be spammed by St. Louis City in the second 45?
Yeah, I expect them to go a little bit more direct, of course, as the game goes on. If they haven't found the back of the net, I expect that. And ae1ad Leuven is one of those players that can drop deep and provide that kind of service. So more of the same, I'm sure, for St. Louis City. I think for the Timbers, again, talking about going to find that second goal, really trying to take the life out of the St. Louis City team. They were really knocking on the door in those last 10 minutes. Timbers kind of reacting a little bit defensively. Want them on the ball a little bit more, dictate play, see if you can put a second one past the St. Louis side.
Portland up 1-0 as we start the second half. The Timbers unbeaten when they score first in Major League Soccer in 2025. Does that hold? Find out next.
Give me those sauces, grab the chicken strips, let's dunk them in there. There's nothing like it. Hey, I'm Joey. And I'm Josh. And we're team members at our local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing you'll love about the Chick-fil-A chicken strips is dipping them in our sauces. My sauce is the barbecue sauce. If you wanted to add sweet, tangy flavors, there's nothing like it. I love the garden herb ranch sauce, but if you want a little bit more kick in the spicy side, you can mix it with buffalo sauce. Dipping them in our sauces, it is perfection.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Team members paid for their testimonials.
Gain Super Flings are here to take your laundry to the next level.
Talking about Gain Super Flings. Super size laundry packs. These things are huge. Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings.
Gain Super Flings laundry packs have 4 times the Oxy cleaning power and 3 times the Febreze freshness versus Gain Original Liquid.
Super fresh, super clean. Gain Super Flings.
Gain Super Flings for next level laundry.
Kickstart your career in the trades at Carrington College Trades Education Center. Explore hands-on programs in electrical technology or heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration. At Carrington College, you'll train with the same industry standard equipment you'll use on the job, guided by instructors with real-world experience. Be career-ready in as few as 10 months. Visit carrington.edu to power up your future. For more information about student outcomes, visit carrington.edu/SCI.
When it's time to scale your business, it's time for Shopify. Get everything you need to grow the way you want, like all the way. Stack more sales with the best converting checkout on the planet. Track your cha-chings from every channel, right in one spot. And turn real-time reporting into big-time opportunities. Take your business to a whole new level. Switch to Shopify. Start your free trial today.
Rolling hot dogs super fat on a fluffy bun. All beef hot dogs rolling in. Hurry, cause they're on the run. Pick your toppings anyway. Roll into this deal. Pick your 2, big Q2. Roll and mix a meal. Mustard relish, sauerkraut. Ain't no need to scream and shout. Get 2 all beef hot dogs and a big Q for $5. Only at QT. More than a gas station.
And from Energizer Park in St. Louis, Missouri, as the Timbers have a 1-0 lead, thanks to David DaCosta's 4th goal of the season and 2nd in consecutive matches, almost a carbon copy of his goal from last week in the 72nd minute against the Revs. Here today against St. Louis City, have them out in front through 45 minutes. We mentioned before the break when the Timbers are leading at halftime. They are unbeaten this year, 4 wins, no losses, and 1 draw. Meanwhile, St. Louis winless when they trail at half, no wins, 6 losses, and no draws, and 8 consecutive losses when trailing at half, dating back to October 2nd of 2024. Looks like we're going to see some substitutions here, potentially for both teams. I think we're seeing what the first one's going to be here, and it will be for the Timbers. I believe Ian Smith will be coming into the match, likely a like-for-like substitution taking the place of Jimmer Forey. So we will find that out for certain here in just a moment, as he will be asked to come over to the touchline and officially be welcomed onto the field. We also saw Edward Leuven getting some instructions as well for St. Louis City. So we will see if he comes on in this one. But yes, can confirm now, Ian Smith on, Jimmer Forey off here at halftime. So this, to me, reads more as man management with 3 matches in the next 7 days, as opposed to any sort of issue that we saw either injury-wise or performance-wise from Jimmer Forey.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair statement for sure. And Ian Smith, of course, mentioned the goal that he got last week. Maybe they want to get a little bit more in the attack. Tavita Shala covering that area in the midfield fairly well for the Portland Timbers. Maybe it allows Ian Smith to push up a bit more. See if he can get his name on the score sheet or pick up assists today for Portland.
Whistle blows. We're underway with the second half from Energizer Park in St. Louis, Missouri. Fletcher Johnson, Aaron Heinsohn with you, as Portland has a lead at the break and will look to pick up their 4th win away from home this season if they can hold on to this result. If they do, it would be their most wins away from home in a single season since 2021. Long way to go, though, for the Timbers to get that done, as St. Louis looked dangerous early and often here this evening. And the first touch from Ian Smith is a header backwards, conceding a corner kick. So not exactly the first action you'd like to have if you're the MLS rookie Ian Smith, to concede a corner kick within the first minute of the second half that Marcel Hartel will hit with his right foot from the far flag.
Yeah, St. Louis City, talked about them at halftime. Probably going to go direct here in the second half. A lot of long balls over the top. Maybe pick up the second one. that's headed down, but expect more of that from St. Louis City this half.
Here's Hartel's strike. Serves the ball in towards a penalty spot. Crepeau comes out, doesn't get it. It's headed away by the Timbers and helped along by Moreno. And misplayed by DaCosta as well, and it'll be Oostrak that ends up getting it. Otherwise, Timbers could have been off on the break there. 2v1 had they been able to control it. Instead, St. Louis keep the pressure up. They're going right to left across your radio dial in the second half. Timbers, meanwhile, means will go left to right. Here's Hartel on it, standing on it with DaCosta right next to him. Corner of the 18, far side of the field. Now dribbling central. Tries to play a diagonal ball for Teukert. It's deflected and cleared away by Portland across midfield.
And picking up right where we left off in the first half. St. Louis City overloads on the wings. And now on the far side. Their right side, Timbers left side. So that's Ian Smith's area, the substitute that just has come on. And it's Marcel Hartel, Cedric Teukert floating back and forth. For St. Louis City, they'll just want to move the ball a little bit quicker. It's pretty easy right now in front of the Timbers.
Here's a service in. No one from St. Louis really expecting it from that far touchline, and an easy collection for Crepeau. He rolls out quickly for Mosquera. Moreno out of DaCosta. DaCosta dribbling across midfield, has a poked away, goes directly into the path of Moreno, though, and then he gets it. It was actually Ortiz that had it poked away. Now DaCosta on it. For Moreno. Moreno back to DaCosta. DaCosta, beautiful touch, and a huge save from Berkey. DaCosta could have had a hat trick today. 2 huge saves from Roman Berkey have kept DaCosta out of the net 2 out of 3 times today.
Again, just beautiful combination play between DaCosta and Moreno. Finding those pockets that are just in front of that back line. And Roman Berkey, though, just all of his experience, reads this perfectly, gets both hands up. DaCosta tries to go over the top of him, and he just knocks it away brilliantly. But again, a wonderful move by the Timbers. But it's in that space right in front of the center backs. Both defensive midfielders sliding over. DaCosta and Moreno go right through him. It's a huge chance for Portland early on here.
St. Louis have worked the ball into the edge of the attacking third for them, as Orozco has it now under no pressure. Kelsey standing about 3 yards away. Square pass to Oostrak. Oostrak will dribble forward. Kelsey coming over to defend. Now square pass back near side for Vollum. Vollum will go out wide to Pompeu. Pompeu defended by Mosquera. Right on the touchline, about 25 yards from the end line. Now back central for Vollum. Vollum dribbles central. Chance to shoot if he wants. Instead will pick up his head. Finds the head of João Klaus. Klaus trying to shield the defender. DaCosta comes over to help. Vollum gets onto it. And eventually it's deflected back by Ian Smith to Maxime Crepeau. Canadian international goalkeeper picks it up, rolls it out for Mosquera. Mosquera, Zuprich under some pressure, just had to hit it long towards midfield. Kelsey wins the header back into his own half, though, and Vollum controls. Now Teukert tries to get by Zuprich, shouldered off the ball. Timbers clear away once again. Will Kelsey be able to control this? No, he cannot, and it will be a St. Louis throw-in. St. Louis, a lot of credit. They're putting a lot of pressure on the Timbers. Just haven't found a way through yet. Here's Teukert to Hartel. Nice roll with the back of the foot. Gets it to Oostrak, who tries to curl it with his right foot. Cannot keep it down. Goal kick Timbers, 50th minute.
And again, Marcel Hartel involved. This time it's Teukert that picks it up. Good little combination play. Releases Oostrak at the top of the 18. He just got to put that on frame and doesn't. Portland, just prior to this play, Portland did really well to stay in front of the ball, shifting numbers over, but occasionally St. Louis City able to shake the first defender for the Timbers, find that space and create those opportunities. That's why it's so important Portland get another goal here, because just one of these moments for St. Louis City, we could be level here.
Kelsey earns the foul. Vollum felt like he was fouled. What he didn't realize is his teammate pushed Kelsey into his back as we get another look at DaCosta's shot. I don't think that was probably the play from DaCosta. Probably just needed to roll it far post, and it would have slotted right in, but tried to go over the top of Berkey, who was ready for it.
Yeah, just got a little too close to Berkey. Couldn't get it over him quick enough. And the goalkeeper just comes so quickly off his line as soon as he realized that ball was going to make it through.
Here's Hartel. Hartel dribbling at the defense. Ortiz comes back to defend. Lays it off for Toykert. Toykert, corner of the 18, far side of the field. Picks up his head. Will lay it out wide for Totland. Totland, prep touch. Decides to send it to Hartel, corner of the 18. Now back to Vollum. Vollum gets it back to Totland. Heavy touch, though, and Sermon able to clear it out to the far touchline.
And most of those runs are being tracked by the Timbers. João Ortiz, just in that moment, allows Toykert to get inside of him. Timbers able to get a foot in. This rotation, though, for St. Louis City, causing Portland problems here again in the second half.
Here's the long throw in coming from Totland. Smith wins the header. Vollum wins the second. Zuprich wins the third. Still in the Timbers box. Finally, DaCosta controls and hits it out towards midfield. Elsie going to try and run onto this one. Force Yaro to play it backwards all the way to Berkey, which he will. Berkey a good 35, 40 yards off his line, though, and no one else coming forward for the Timbers. So St. Louis a chance to reset and bring it forward once again. Here's Oostrak dribbling across midfield, not really picked up by anyone, and now plays it out wide to Pompeu near side. He's defended by Mosquera. Pompeu still with it. Moreno coming to help. Moreno deflects away, but concedes the corner kick. So St. Louis, again, credit to him, started the match this way, continuing it on here to start the second half, putting pressure on the Timbers and creating opportunities for themselves to get on the scoreboard. Timbers leading 1-0 in the 53rd minute.
I talked about that service that Roman Berkey has. You wonder, the Timbers just playing a little bit deep right now with their line. They probably didn't want to push up too high because Berkey can just chip it over the top so well. Portland, though, need to get out of their own end here.
Here's Hartel's service. Goes back post this time. Header won by St. Louis. As it was Yaro who got his head to it, but popped it straight into the air and behind the goal for a Timbers goal kick. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first, like how you check that you've got your tickets first before heading to the Portland Timbers match. Visit allstate.com for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Timbers, after today, will come home for consecutive matches the remainder of the week. Salt Lake coming to town on Wednesday, and then Minnesota visiting for the first of two meetings this season on Saturday. Minnesota above the Timbers in the standings. Meanwhile, Salt Lake below them, but having picked up a win last week. Good work by Oostrak to keep possession in front of a couple Timbers. He has it in the center circle now, forward for Hartel. Hartel doesn't see Moreno coming. Gets it out wide for Pompeu. Pompeu in the box. Defense comes. Klaus gets a touch to it. Hartel nets it. And St. Louis have the equalizer in the 54th minute, courtesy of Marcel Hartel, his third goal of the season and sixth of his MLS career.
Well, if there's a player that's deserved it in this match, it's Marcel Hartel for St. Louis City, for his side. This is a little unlucky for the Timbers. They partially press as St. Louis City are building out. You can see João Ortiz get stuck in, but it's Thomas Oostrak that wins that battle in the midfield. There it is. And now as soon as he breaks, there's space there for St. Louis City, and it's Marcel Hartel who picks it up. João Klaus goes inside. He picks Pompeu out left. Finds Hartel in again. Timbers kind of all over the place. It gets a little bit of a fortunate bounce inside that 18-yard box off of Finn Sermon, it looks like. And then Hartel just roofs it into the top of the net at the near post. Crepeau, no chance. St. Louis City, you knew once they had so many opportunities, so many chances, they were going to put one away. Now Timbers have to respond. Fortunate thing is for Portland, when they have been able to slip through St. Louis City, they've looked dangerous.
St. Louis responded very well when Portland scored. Now, will Portland be able to do the same thing?
Again, for the Timbers, they have to get back to looking hungry for the ball. Showing that movement in that final third. David DaCosta and Santi Moreno can do that. You wonder if the Timbers, I know it's a muggy day, they don't just start with a little bit of a higher line. And now St. Louis City have all the numbers going forward. They're pushing the Timbers back in almost every position. Part of the reason why Portland just couldn't get out for the last 20 minutes, including the end of the first half and the beginning of this half.
Here's Vollum as the Timbers turned it over. Ball's going to nearly get to Hartel after a deflection, but Crepeau is off his line quickly to grab it and front of Hartel. Timbers have to gain a little bit more of a foothold in this match. I think it's probably a deserved goal for St. Louis at this point, as Ian Smith's running forward, trying to beat Totland in a foot race. Cannot do so. He plays it back to Berkey. And St. Louis have it again. Timbers went Route 1, didn't work. But it's a change in idea, which good for the Timbers. It's what they've done, frankly, for the first part of the second half, outside of one David DaCosta chance, has not worked out all that well.
For Portland, Ian Smith makes that long run. Portland have a chance to get higher up and put some pressure on this, what is essentially a makeshift back line for St. Louis City. Talked about the mistakes they've had in the build-out going into the midfield, and I think that's where Portland could cause them some problems. But at the moment, the back line is dropping so deep. Just about for everybody for Portland has dropped off. They can't apply any pressure.
There's a ball forward for DaCosta from Moreno. DaCosta, corner of the 18, couple step overs. Cuts it back. Will now play Moreno, top of the half circle. Moreno sprays it out wide to Kelsey. Kelsey back to Davida Shala. Davida Shala loose first touch. Not allow him to wrap his foot around that one for a shot. Would have been on his favored left foot. Here's DaCosta. Keeps it in front of the defense. Gets it to Ian Smith. Smith chance to serve in. Will do so. Will go back post. Mosquera is the only one there outside of the 18. Mosquera brings it down. Mosquera dribbles towards the end line. Poked away by Orozco. Very nice by the youngster. Hasiel Orozco, just 25, make it 21 years old. His first season back in MLS after his last year was 2022 with RSL.
Yeah, a little bit out of necessity with all the injuries that they've had in that back line, but another player known by David Critchley. Coming from City 2, Orozco, getting his chance today, as well as last week against RSL.
Had 15 starts with City 2 before last week, and starting against RSL, and then again here today.
This is better here from Portland, though, just meaning a little bit midway, putting more pressure.
Hartel, though, gets behind the defense, and then Ortiz grabs him, and Ortiz will go in the book. So, frankly, Marcel Hartel has been the best player on the field for St. Louis, and I think you could argue him and DaCosta have been the best players on the field altogether.
Yeah, agreed. Hartel this time just curves his run away from Ortiz. Mario Zupric steps forward. It's just a nice little flick from Cilio Pompeu into the path of Hartel, who goes out wide, and now Ortiz is out of the play. He has to foul him there, pick up the yellow card.
So Hartel will serve this ball in. In the first half, 9 goals from set pieces so far this season for St. Louis. 9 of a possible 22 now.
You mentioned it, Fletcher. Hartel likes to play against the Portland Timbers. Those 3 assists he had here last season. Got a goal here today and looks up for it. I think if Portland, though, defensively, come with a higher line, a little more pressure, you take Marcel Hartel out of this game, start to put some pressure on the St. Louis City back line.
Waiting for Hartel's service. His arm goes up, and now he will hit it. Cuts it near side for Pompeu. Pompeu able to work away from Moreno. Chips it in, punched away by Crépeau. Well done by Crépeau to read that and parry it away. And then Smith just sends it out to touch near midfield. Timbers' backs are against the wall at the moment, Aaron.
Yeah, Max Crépeau is having a solid game so far. It's that one goal, of course, for St. Louis City. He didn't have a chance on that one. But he's covered the ball on a wet surface when he's needed to. Dealt with the crosses coming in. Still half an hour left to play in this one, though.
Big switch from Moostrak. Gets it out to Pompeu. So we've reached the hour mark at Energizer Park. 1-1, Timbers and St. Louis. Portland scored in the first half. St. Louis in the second half. Pompeu keeps it. Able to poke it into the path of Toykert, top of the half circle. Tries to play it back through. It'll fall to Toykert again, top of the box. Toykert picks his head up, tries to pop one back post. Mosquera clears only as far as Pompeu, and then Pompeu's left-footed shot, the flex off of his own player, finds Moreno. Now Kelsey holding it up in front of Yarrow. Kelsey able to spin Yarrow. Kelsey still with it. Kelsey rolling it. And gets it into space for Kamal Miller.
Really well done there by Kevin Kelsey.
Did very well to get it into the path of Kamal Miller. as the Timbers need some possession. Again, similar setup to the first half. The only difference with the second half, though, is that St. Louis got the goal. They've had 2/3 of the ball here in the second half alone and are maintaining about a 60-40 possession advantage in the match. 62nd minute now. Fletcher Johnson, Aaron Heinsohn with you as Portland has possession at midfield. Zuprich out wide to Mosquera. Mosquera quickly in for Moreno. Kelsey drifted offside, couldn't use him. Nice find, though, by Moreno to pick out Ian Smith, who plays it across, blocked by Totland. Smith collects, corner of the 18. Now we'll go back, and the Timbers will recycle things. Here's Ashala. Ashala, curl it out wide for Smith once again. Smith can serve in if he wants. He'll do so, looking for the head of Kelsey. It was over the top of Kelsey. The header went out to Toykert, but he couldn't control it. Portland keep possession here in the 62nd minute. Mosquera near touchline. Back to Zuprich. Zuprich gets to the angle he wants, plays it to Kamal Miller. Really trying to attack down that left-hand side are the Timbers. Now they'll try and maybe go back to the right. Zuprich. Moreno will come to collect. In central for Ashala. Ashala tracked by Vollum. He'll now pick out DaCosta. DaCosta 40 yards from goal, dribbling, trying to come back central, working his way around Oostrak. Gets it to Moreno. Moreno will shoot top of the half circle. It's blocked. Will be collected by Mosquera, near side of the field. Quickly back in for DaCosta. Good build up here by the Timbers and lots of possession at the moment. Now out wide for Ian Smith. Smith can serve in once again, dribbling forward. Now lays it off for Kamal Miller. Miller will go back to Ian Smith. Now we'll go back to Ashala, 63rd minute. Portland's had the ball for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Zuprich 40 yards from goal. Out wide for Mosquera. Mosquera central for Moreno. Moreno tracked by Orozco. Now to Ashala. Ashala, Kamal Miller, a square pass, and now out to the far touchline for Ian Smith. João Ortiz back to Smith. Timbers haven't found a way through, but I like their patience here at the moment. Here's Ashala. Ortiz. Ortiz 30 yards from goal. Out wide for Smith. Smith will cycle it back to Kamal Miller.
St. Louis City with everybody back right now, making things difficult. Thought Ian Smith was going to serve it earlier. Elected not to. Timbers still moving it around pretty well. That first goal, remember, between David DaCosta when he scored, it was Dario Zuprich that brought it in.
Here's Moreno who turns it over, tried to dribble through two St. Louis players, didn't come off. Here's Pompeu, gets it to Klaus, and a foul is going to be called back here on Kelsey, and now Kelsey is going to go in the book. And Kelsey goes and gets in the face of Pompeu, saying he went down cheaply. Kelsey picks up the yellow card. Ricardo Montero Araya did not like it that he went and got in Pompeu's face, complaining about his shoulder is Pompeu. Was through the back from Kelsey. Unnecessary foul committed and gives St. Louis a dangerous chance to send a cross in.
Yeah, you appreciate the tracking work there from Kevin Kelsey, but can't be giving up fouls in those moments. Pompeu looks shaken up a little bit, and then, of course, the little afters.
As Edward Leuven appears prepared to come on.
Timbers looking great in that moment, in that build-up play, and Santi Moreno just trying to split two players in a dangerous spot, doesn't get through. Now St. Louis City with a counterattack opportunity, and now this free kick chance.
A couple changes coming for the Timbers in the 65th minute. Omir Fernandez on, Santi Moreno off. Diego Chara on, João Ortiz off. So Ortiz was carrying a yellow card. He's removed from the match. Diego Chara making his 415th Major League Soccer appearance. And will look to try and help the Timbers, at the very least, see out a draw, if not find a winner.
And again, humid out there. 3 games, 6 days. And it is exciting for Edward Leuven to see him back out on the field. I know the stuff that he's dealing with his wife and her illness. Fans giving an appreciation there. But back to the Timbers. Opportunity here for Omir Fernandez after going out with that injury he had just before the break. Chance for him to get something on the score sheet. Get 3 points here for Portland today.
Yeah, Leuven's wife was diagnosed with brain cancer. He took an extended leave of absence in the 2024 MLS season to support her during her treatment. He's spoken publicly about her health challenges and the need for prayer. So certainly hoping that his wife will be able to beat cancer in her battle. He's been open about it. And now the other change coming, this one more due to injury. Pompeu off, Simon Betcher coming on, the former Vancouver Whitecap. 1 goal in 4 appearances against the Timbers will come on in his place, making his 22nd appearance of the season. So here's a ball in by Lubin. It's saved by Crépeau and then put back central for Betcher. Timbers still not out of danger here as Volum's defended by Diego Chara. Back for Totland. Now corner of the 18 for Volum. Volum will serve in. Header 1 and a goal! St. Louis has done it again, and it's Marcel Hartel who's given St. Louis the lead in the 68th minute. Some miscommunication from the Timbers back line, and Hartel squeezes it through the tiniest of areas, and he's on a brace.
Marcel Hartel just popping up everywhere. This time it starts with a free kick from Leuven, gets cleared by the Timbers, ends up on the opposite side of the field. It's a cross that comes in. Yeah, just a little bit of communication there. It looks like it's Conrad Volum. It's just a floated ball to the far post. Kelsey rises to head it away, but it goes over him. I think that maybe took Crépeau's eye off it a little bit. And Hartel just hiding right behind Kelsey to dart straight at Crépeau. Can't react quick enough. Slips in at the near post. St. Louis with the lead.
And I believe we'll have to take another look. It's being credited to Hartel at the moment. I mean, I don't know if they would take it away from him per se, but it appeared that it might have glanced or took a deflection off of the head of Kevin Kelsey and passed Crépeau. I think the more concerning thing there was that floated ball. Mosquera was there, but maybe didn't realize that Hartel was behind him because Mosquera didn't even try and rise to win the header.
I think the same thing happened to potentially looking at an offsides here.
All the way back on the free kick from Leuven that Crépeau saved diving to his right.
This is interesting. It's Marcel Hartel. If he may just left a little bit early, Crépeau pushes it away. And in the end, they say no. Play on. But I think it was the same thing that happened to Crépeau. Kevin Kelsey rises up for it. Crépeau thinks he's going to get it. Mosquera thinks he's going to get it. Ends up drifting beyond him, and Hartel just reacts.
Hartel has doubled his 2025 goal output so far here tonight with 2 goals, 4 now for the season. And boy, he likes playing against the Timbers. This is 3rd appearance against Portland. He now has 2 goals and 3 assists in those 3 appearances.
It's been a factor since almost the very beginning of the match.
Oh, nice play. Gets it to Betcher. Betcher's shot is wide. Timbers turned it over. Mosquera went down. Klaus found Betcher, but he couldn't turn and wrap his right foot around it.
This time it's Mosquera just getting pinned in the corner. Possession turns over. St. Louis running straight to the back line of Portland Timbers. Betcher can't put that one on frame. I'm surprised here if we don't see some kind of change up top for Portland.
Here's Omir Fernandez. He's going to run onto this. Corner of the 18. He's defended by 2, tries to go through, and it's poked away. Ball's back for Leuven. Then sends it out towards midfield. Kamal Miller will bring it down. Hits it out wide to Ian Smith. Timbers desperately in need of a goal. Led 1-0 at halftime. Have not lost when leading at the break this season. Have not lost when scoring first this season. Now they need to find a goal to get themselves back into it. 2-1 St. Louis, 71st minute. Here's Smith bringing it forward. Central for Ashala. Ashala will put it out wide to DaCosta. Far touchline. DaCosta will serve in. Looking back post. Berkey had it read the whole way, and it's out for a goal kick.
Costa just getting too much of that one. Just wonder now that they're trailing the game, Timbers don't push forward a little bit more. Of course, the back line will have to be aware that's the trade-off of the long ball. But put some more pressure on this St. Louis back line. See if you can win something higher up, cause some problems.
Say a ball went out off of the Timbers. Clearly looked to go off the right foot of Zhao Klaus. Both referees saw it the other way, though. So throw-in coming for St. Louis, and we're definitely entering the phase of the match in which St. Louis is going to be under no hurry to restart play with the 2-1 lead. Here's a Roscoe. Back to Leuven. Go further back to Yarrow and force back to Berkey. Berkey touches it out wide to his right. Will fizz it across midfield. Misses the head of Toykert. It's Kamal Miller that gets to it. Puts Ian Smith in a spot of bother, but he hits it first time to Diego Chara. Now Ashala. Big switch over to the near side. Doesn't come off. Orozco brings it down. Under pressure from Mosquera. Able to find Leuven. St. Louis look comfortable at the moment with everything that the Timbers are throwing at them. Meanwhile, when St. Louis has gotten into the attacking third tonight, they have looked the brighter side. Outside of David DaCosta, not really much to speak of for Portland in this match. Bill Neville trying to urge his team onto a goal. Got to get the ball back first, though, as Vollum square pass to his center back over on the far side of the field.
That's just in a moment there. You see Conrad Vollum getting on that ball, and that pass from Girdwood Reich. Wait as they chip that one to the box. It's like a goal kick for the Timbers. But that moment there, Fletcher, the ball goes into Vollum. Kevin Kelsey, who had pushed over to try and apply some pressure, he stops the pressure. Vollum now doesn't feel any more pressure, and a little bit of the press there for the Timbers goes away. Those are those little moments. If you can just add that second 5-6 yard run, just close him down, let him get his head down. Instead, it's comfortable, and a couple more seconds go, and they can rotate the ball to the other side. At the moment, when the Timbers go to press, they either have to press with everything or drop off a little bit. It doesn't do any good to just kind of half press. It's too easy for St. Louis to play out.
Here's a bad turnover from St. Louis. Ball played directly to Kelsey right at midfield. He'll play it out wide far side for DaCosta. DaCosta 40 yards from goal, dribbling at Girdwood Reich. DaCosta chips it forward. Yarrow had that read the whole way. St. Louis's defense was tracking back, and they do well to dispel the danger at first, but they give it right back to the Timbers. Here's a Shala shot, and that had a lot of power behind it, but missed the near post to Berkey. They're going to say it took a deflection potentially, and it will be a corner kick for Portland.
Yeah, great idea from David Ashala. No cross opportunities there. He's got a good look. Striking hard. Now, Mal Miller's arguing that Ian Smith was held up there by Thomas Totland when he was making a run forward. St. Louis City side certainly will be on pins and needles. You know, the kind of season they've had so far.
Fernandez will serve this ball in. Right-footed in-swinger coming from the far flag. And before that, we will see a substitution. David Ashala will come off. Christian Paredes will come on. So Paredes on, Ashala off in the 75th minute.
I think David Ashala's had a pretty decent game. Particularly off the ball defensively, done well breaking the play up.
The other substitution is Dario Zuparic off and Gage Guerra on. So the Timbers going back to a 4-2-3-1 to try and find a way to get a tying goal in this match at the very least. Here's the service from Fernandez. Floated ball, finds the head of Guerra, who pops it up in the air and it lands on top of the net. Boy, I tell you what, Gage Guerra comes into the game and he immediately finds the ball. There's something about the way that he plays that has him around the ball on a regular basis.
He's just got that no-nonsense approach. Willing to put his body on the line, jumping in there, trying to stop something. He's going to line up on this right side here. This near side for the Timbers. And again, a pressure from Portland. And Edward Leuven plays it out of bounds.
Felipe Mora still hoping maybe he has an opportunity to have an impact in this match.
So David DaCosta will go to the middle and Fernandez on the left. Paige Guerra on the right. Of course, Kevin Kelsey in the middle, up top.
Down the line looking for Guerra. Read well by Yarrow and cut out. Yarrow's pass gets to the defense, and Mosquera is going to go in the book for a step on Orozco. First yellow card of the season for Juan David Mosquera.
Yeah, pretty impressive actually for a guy that plays just about every minute of the game of the season. We just a half a second late here. It's a step on Orozco. No ill will or anything in it.
So Orozco will take his time getting up. So we're now in the 77th minute. Timbers led 1-0 at the break. 2 goals from Marcel Hartel in the second half. Have the home team in front.
There's just a sense of there's still plenty of time, but this game just kind of slipped out of the Timbers' hands a little bit after taking on that first 20-minute pressure, scoring a wonderful goal, looking comfortable, and then bit by bit, St. Louis City working their way back in. Timbers now still have plenty of time to apply some pressure, really go at this St. Louis City back line, see if you can pick something up higher up the field.
Berkey long over midfield. Paul Miller wins the header. Paredes will chest it down and send it out wide to Fernandez. Fernandez has space over there. Totland tracking him. Here's Fernandez. Fernandez, corner of the 18. Serves the ball in. It's read well by St. Louis. Cleared away. Miller gets his head to it in front of the defense, and now Kamal Miller is going to go in the book. And Ricardo Montero Araya is kind of losing it a little bit here. That's not a yellow card offense on Kamal Miller, if you ask me. Maybe it was for the descent that followed after, but now 4 yellow cards on the Timbers, none on St. Louis.
I think that's the 5th yellow card on Kamal Miller as well. He may be out for
You're right.
Wednesday.
Yep, suspended for the Wednesday night match against Salt Lake now. So a relatively cheap yellow card to get for Kamal Miller. Means the Timbers likely will be unable to play the formation that they've played for the last couple matches now. Betcher in an offside position. Betcher collapses like a ton of bricks as he was standing over the ball. Gotta love this stuff, Aaron.
It's a little bit of, it's Betcher knows exactly what he's doing. He's just taking more time off the clock. You're not supposed to touch the ball after the referee's blown his whistle. And really, Betcher, of course, takes the shove from Mosquera as if Mosquera did much more than just push him. Mosquera does have to be careful. Just already on a yellow card, but really nothing in that. And Timbers should just better to move on. Mosquera should know better, though. Being on a yellow card, you just never know how the referee is going to react. But
very odd to me that that's the one that he calls the players over to have a conversation about.
Certainly plays into St. Louis City's.
Here's a header win by Kevin Kelsey. Now DaCosta with it. DaCosta's shot takes a deflection and takes a lot off of it, allowing Berkey to basically just dive to his left and collect. Here's Gage Guerra again on the Kelsey header. Gets his foot to it into the path of DaCosta, who gets a shot off, but the deflection takes everything off of it. 81st minute now. Timbers still trailing 2-1. This would be a incredibly disappointing defeat for the Timbers if they're not able to come back and earn a point.
Well, it's nice to see Diego Char in there now. He's got the captain's armband on, urging the team forward, getting their shape, trying to apply this pressure.
Here's Toiker dribbling it forward. He has Orozco out wide. Instead, we'll go central for João Klaus. Klaus now far side for Totland. Totland, corner of the 18. Now to Leuven. Leuven will shoot from distance, wide the whole way. Crépeau had it seen and really wasn't threatened in that moment. St. Louis out shooting the Timbers 18-8. So in that sense, maybe with what St. Louis have created, a deserved 2-1 lead at this point.
I think that's fair. If they, just as that moment in the first half, as things begin to build, St. Louis City getting chance after chance. It's only a matter of time that they were going to get one, and they do get it through Hartel, and it's gone from there.
So third substitution for St. Louis. We'll see Cedric Teukert come off. Keel Watts come on in his place. Watts scored in that match on June 8th against the Timbers. That gave St. Louis a 1-0 lead, only to see Portland erase that deficit and win 2-1. St. Louis trying to do the same thing to Portland just over a month later.
Watts will more than likely then sit back there, help out Edvard Leuven and Conrad Vollum.
Here's Paredes, 82nd, about to cross into the 83rd minute. Timbers have possession on the near side. Two come over to defend Mosquera. Quickly plays out to Sermon, across to Kamal Miller. Out to Ian Smith. Smith forward for DaCosta. Smith continuing his run, does well to get away from Betcher. Now we'll play it out wide to Fernandez. A lot of St. Louis defenders over there, really nothing they can do. Timbers have to move the ball quickly here. Diego Chara back out wide for Fernandez. Fernandez, chance to serve in if he wants, will do so. Looking for Guerra. Guerra just missed it with his left foot. And St. Louis trying to clear their lines. Will they be able to do so? I think Mosquera's going to get there. Mosquera's taken out by Vollum, and yes, indeed, that is a foul on Vollum. Good save there by Ricardo Montero Araya. Restart coming for the Timbers in the attacking half.
Well, Portland doing well, getting some service out on that wing. Just wondering if they can get in behind St. Louis City, because at the moment it's all in front of them. Let's get another look at this go-ahead goal for St. Louis City. It's just Marcel Hartel in behind Kelsey. It's a lot of power on that header. A couple times, though, we've seen Omer Fernandez with those crosses. Perhaps he can swing him in with just a little bit more velocity, a little bit quicker, allowing Portland to get a flick on. But if you float him up there, it's a little bit easier for St. Louis City defense.
Ball played across by St. Louis, into the box, cleared away by Finn Sermon. Now here's Fernandez. Fernandez forced to play negative. Goes back to Ian Smith, now to Diego Chara. Timbers in their own half at the moment. Now with a chance to build out. Sermon down the near touchline for Mosquera. Mosquera central for Paredes. Is there a way through for the Timbers? This is where St. Louis was good early in the year, not conceding goals. Paredes with kind of a direct line-breaking pass, misses both of the targets. Yarrow plays back to Berkey, who will send it long across midfield. Klaus trying to get on the end of it. Instead, it's Sermon who wins the header into the path of Ian Smith.